I'm Alex Del Sordo with Rowers Choice Network, and we have Coaches Yelling Season 2, Episode 4. I always get this messed up, and this is a star-studded event, okay? We have the best coach in the league with the best team in the league, Sarah Lowe. We have a newbie, Christine Cassidy, up in Boston, being miserable. It's cold. It's COVID right now. And then we have Nichole Martin, who, we thought she was everything to me for this league. I thought she was going to dominate out there in the Kodiaks, but she's not. We got a great event here. We got 3 questions that I think are really challenging, given COVID and everything. And the third one is a wild card question I'm really excited about. And if you're new or not new to Coaches Yelling, it's very simple. I ask 3 rapid fire questions. Coaches have just a minute to answer. I rack up the points, we see who wins, and Sarah, you won last time, so you'll be going last this time, okay? You gotta give your opponents a chance here. So, we're gonna get started. Christine, before we get started on here, how miserable are you? How terrible is this? And don't you just miss rowing?
I'm dying. Dying. Our boathouse is under gut renovation, so we don't even have indoor training. I work through university, so our facilities are closed. It's just singles on the river, and I can see the Charles from my window right now. It's awful. But the league's great.
The league is great. Thanks so much for that. But you're right. And everybody wants to say it out loud. This sucks. It's terrible. And we're going to try to bring some joy into your world today right now. So I'm going to start with you. Okay.
All right.
With spring racing sort of in question, I think we all kind of know it's not going to happen. Are you altering your winter training because of that? If so, why? You're on the clock.
Yeah. So as I said, we sort of worked out. We knew we were going to be under gut renovation anyways. So we had actually built our winter training more around circuits and just building a lot of quick twitch muscles. So ton of circuit work. We're also going to be incorporating a lot of yoga in with our ergs. So just trying to keep people in fitness. As you said, it looks like we're not going to be competing at all this spring season with the outside option of potentially doing that virtual crash B. So altering the winter training to really just focus on that 2K.
So you're just going to focus on one race, let alone all
Pretty
the way
much.
to June, which would be the championships. Interesting. I like that. Okay. 45 seconds, clean and simple. Now, this is your first time ever being on the show. Here's a little piece of advice. You have to win me over. Just make me happy, make me smile, and you will win. Sarah has done it every time, and she's wow. Moving on.
Then I'll just cherry on the top. We're calling it Roga.
Nice. There you go.
I love that. All right, Nichole, you are out. You're the furthest away from us. So we're all East Coast. You're West Coast. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning for you. How bad does it suck out there? I mean, how awful is COVID and not rowing?
Yeah, it's rough. Well, those who can row right now, it's been so stinking stormy over here and windy and gusty that even the outlet who could row, you can't row right now. So it's been hit and miss. It's been tough. I'm struggling. I love coaching Cox boats, and I am just dying right now watching coxswains just sit on land doing nothing. So it's been a real struggle for me internally as a former coxswain to just see these athletes sit and wait. So
well, you are doing, even though you are losing in the league, you are doing a great job motivating your athletes, and they love you as a coach. So here we are with the spring racing uncertain. Are you changing the structure of your winter workouts, and why? You're on the clock.
So I am not changing our training plan. Our training plan is going to remain the same. I am changing the execution of how I'm delivering the training plan. I've got athletes, speaking about my college rowers, spread out across the country. Some have access to ergs, some don't. Some have access to a single from home, some are here. Most probably won't come back after this big Thanksgiving break that they have. I mean, their break is from Thanksgiving to after the New Year. So the training itself, the plan is going to stay the same. My athletes know the training plan. We work with micro and macro cycles, but the execution is going to be very different. So doing a lot of inter squad challenges. Not going to spend too much because I don't want people stealing my idea, but we've got a Top Gun challenge happening right now where I've got Two wingman, they're doing weekly operations, bi-weekly missions, which deal with training, cross-training, different challenges that way. So just being creative, keeping people connected, especially those who are spread across, but the overall arching plan stays the same.
Time, man. Gosh, you know what? I love, there's something about Coxsons that I love. You lost miserably last time. And I think I even made fun of you how long it took you to answer questions. 1 minute and 1 second. Exactly. Wow. Wow. Top Gun challenge. I'm super intrigued. Wallen the commish, like you should work with him because that'd be cool. Sarah, you've won this, okay? You are the best coach on the best team in the league. It's painfully obvious. Everyone knows it. Power Rankings had you at the top all the time. How bad is your life right now? How miserable is it down in Atlanta as we get into the winter training?
It's horrible. We definitely have a little bit looser restrictions than a lot of the country, and we're out and rowing. But we're capped with the number of people that can be at the river every day. So all of our squads had to adjust this fall their schedule anyway. So it's awful. It's just like so different. Yeah.
So different. So with that in mind, you know the question, right? Have you or are you changing your winter training plans given there might not be spring racing? You're on the clock.
So we are and we're not. Yes and no. We already had to change, like I talked about. We're in a different schedule. We generally practice 6 days a week. Now we're down to 3 or 4 days a week with some virtual training, some on your own training, things like that to supplement. So that will continue. We're in the same, kind of like Nichole, same training plan that we would have, adjustments based on how it went last year. Plus, I don't know if you remember, Alex, but there was this thing called March Mania that we won.
You did?
So we need to defend it. So we have a big race coming up in February and March. Whether we are, on the water or not, I feel like that's going to be the only thing happening during those months. So let's go. And then, yeah.
Plug. You did a plug. You just won. You won the round. Okay, you won the round. My gosh, come on. You just promoted the Rowers Choice Network. I love it. March Mania. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because I want to roll in right to the next one. Oh, I'm getting asked, who did you beat in the finals at March Mania? Who was it?
Oh, it was this little team from the Midwest, Chicago, I think.
Yeah. And Wallen, believe me, Wallen still talks about that race. Like he doesn't let things go. And I love that about him. All right, moving on to the next question. Nichole, you're in the lead. I'll just leave it at that. You're in the lead.
Nice.
Keep at it. Now, we've talked about this a lot this entire year, just how certain aspects of regattas and rowing is just not that fun, right? So my question for Sarah, we're going to go back around the horn. Sarah, what event has to go from the standard regatta slate? Which one is just the worst event that you want to see gone right now? You're on the clock.
I think this is going to be pretty controversial, but I'm going to go for it. I think all novice events should be eliminated.
Oh.
All. So
I was like mic drop. Like, oh.
I'm on for the freshmen, cool. I'm on for the under 17, under 15, cool. But more and more programs around the country are starting to do, speaking from high school, starting to race their kids in middle school or even programming in elementary school. So by the time you get to a novice event, this kid has been rowing for 6 years. That's not real. The novice event is fun because it's all these kids who started 6 months ago and it's awesome and it's kind of a cluster and that's why it's great. So then when we have all these novices that have been training for years and years and years, takes away all the fun, all of it.
Wow. Killer answer. Nichole, you're up next. I can't wait to hear how you follow up with this because, as a coxswain, I think you have your own feeling of a regatta, right? You kind of see it differently than a rower, as Sarah was a rower. So, Nichole, what is the one event you would get rid of at the standard regatta? You're on the clock.
Yeah, coming from my college and master's rowing coaching background right now, this is going to be controversial. I'll agree with Sarah on this. The 1X. I'm a team player. I think that there's something to be said about seeing two people take a pair down the course. It's cool to see one person, but I love the teamwork. Rowing's all about teamwork sports, and I honestly, there's so many single events that happen. And I mean, up all the way up through the age categories F through G and on to where you're like, this is just too much. It's too much. And it's kind of boring. Like if you only know one or two rowers, that's cool if you know the top guy or gal in that like age category. But other than that, it's just single after single after single. And unless there's a crash, not a lot happening. So I'd say the single.
All right, I love this, and you all know this. Every type A man or woman rower in the entire world, hear you say that, they hate you. They immediately hate you. They say you're the worst because, look, I know a lot of masters rowers. We all do, and the single is everything to them. I love that answer. I love the answer so far. Christine, this is hard to follow up. All right, you got a novice, you got the singles. I can't wait for your answer. You're on the clock.
Well, Sarah, I thought about this. Sarah took my original. I agree on that novice page. So I'll go ahead and give another answer. I don't know if this will be controversial. I really dislike this. I'd like to see alumni boats go.
Yes.
For me, it's kind of like, I'm from Chicago. I worked with Mike for years and years. It's like seeing Michael Jordan go to the Wizards. The magic just never comes back. Like, stop trying to college days. And I mean, half the people haven't been in a boat for a dozen years. The other half are training hardcore, and it's just yeah. I do with alumni.
You know, okay, after a word from our sponsors, we'll be right back for the third and final question and my reaction to all three of these answers. More from us in a second. And we're back. So we're joking off camera. Christine, you were in the grave. You were dead for the count. We didn't think that you were coming back. And unanimously, and what I love about this group is we all said you should just win for that answer. Alumni, it's the worst. You're absolutely right. It's a train wreck. 3 guys or 3 women in the boat are always beasts, and the other ones are just drunk assholes. We love it. Great answer, but we need a third. And this question's wonderful. And it's a story, okay? I love telling stories. You all know that. And this is a story-related question. So I'm going to start with Sarah. Sarah, what is, hands down, the grossest thing you have ever seen or experienced at a practice? You're on the clock.
Okay, I'm ready. So this actually only happened this fall, and it is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. So we are on a tennis court with just kind of like a pole barn on the outside. So pretty like basic boathouse situation. And our launches, they're John boats on the outside. So the girls are going out to get a John boat and set it up for practice and set the motor up and all that stuff. And the captains come up to me and they're like, Coach Sarah, we can't get the launch. And I was like, go get it. What, like, why? And they're like, well, there's some poop. And I was like, so step over it, like just figure it out and get the launch. And they were like, no, I don't think you understand. Like we can't. And I was like, okay. I was like, here's the deal. None of you can watch me clean this up. None of you. So I was like, take all the team, take all the novices, go in the parking lot, play a game, do something. I don't care what. So I found our like COVID cleaning response kit, put on some gloves, put on like 7 masks and go out to the launches. And there is a human poop about like the size of a raccoon, sitting like 6 inches away from the launch. So like literally you can't pick it up without touching it. So I had to clean it up into a bag and then walk the bag to the dumpster past all of the girls with them all like very clearly knowing what I had just done. And I was like, if you ever bring this up to me again, I swear to God, I'll kick you off the team.
What stole it was you described the size of it, the raccoon poop. I love it. Oh, all right, that's hard to top. Man.
It was horrible.
All right, gotta catch my breath. Okay, Nichole, what is the grossest thing you've ever experienced or seen at a practice? You're on the clock.
Yeah, so unfortunately this happened to me. I feel like being a coxswain, you are in the middle of most of the nastiness on a men's team especially. So I was doing a 2K test and I was coxing one of my top guys in the V8. This guy's like 6'5", like just a beast of a man. He also had a lot of trouble controlling every hole in his face from just expelling everything. I mean, mucus, snot, saliva. I mean, it was just a lot. He was a 3-seat, not gonna say his name, but he was just kind of a gross guy. And I was standing over his shoulder right behind him, coxing him as I usually do. And he came back to the finish, blew a loogie in his hand. Maybe did it because I was standing there and he knew I was or wasn't. Threw it over his shoulder. Luckily, it missed my mouth, but landed all up in my ear and hair. And I was so in the moment, I just went, okay, and got back down there and kept yelling. It wasn't until I went into the bathroom and was pulling loogie out of my hair that I was like dry heaving. And then I had to tell him what he did and how much he owes me for like manning up and just staying with him through that.
Come on.
Probably the most disgusting thing I've ever had to have happen to me so far.
So we have poop and we have mucus. I don't know what's left in terms of the grossest things, but Christine, you've been around a while. You've seen things. What is the grossest thing you've ever seen at a practice or experienced? You're on the clock.
I will set the scene. It was the summer of 2000, right before I went to college. I was actually rowing with Michael O'Gorman in Chicago out of 35th Street on the Chicago River, which is Bubbly Creek. It's where they used to put all the old animal carcasses, and it still bubbles today. We're out for a practice, and there's a lot of debris in the river anyways, but our coxswain slowed us down, and we were coming up on something, and it got snagged on 2 seats oar. And as it kind of worked its way down the boat, we realized it was a bloated llama carcass entangled in a shopping cart. And it was so bloated, it was actually farting and burping as it went down the boat. And it took us a solid 2 minutes to get this disgusting, hideous, rotting carcass off of our boat. One person had a little bit of a barfy moment, and I can still smell it. 20 years later, still smell it.
All right. Okay, Nichole, Sarah, she won. She won today. That was awesome. Hands down, llama, farts, burps, and alumni racing. I love
Only
that.
in Chicago.
Only in Chicago. So listen, for all those watching, I hope you enjoyed. Maybe this brought a smile to your face. Great stories, great answers today from 3 people that have been doing this for a very long time. Nichole, Sarah, you finished 3rd today because Nichole nicked you out with the Top Gun thing. How are you feeling today? Did we put a smile on your face in the world?
I mean, I feel like I'm not dying right now. So that's like a little bit better than I was before.
Awesome. Thank you for being part of this. 3rd place, not bad. Nichole, 2nd place today on Coaches Yelling, your 2nd time ever. How are you feeling today?
Good. Happy to be here, healthy, which is great. So I'm just going to keep pushing along and making it through. Thanks for having me. This was fun. So
we loved it. And your answers were perfect. I loved it. The singles was the best. Christine, you stole the show. You were down for the count. You stole the show. And the llama story is wonderful. How are you feeling winning your first ever Coaches Yelling episode?
I needed this, Alex. I'm not going to lie. This made the month,
That makes me feel great. Well, that is it for us here at Rowers Choice Network, episode 4, season 2 of Coaches Yelling. More from us next week.